as Chelsea went 1-0 down away at Cardiff City last weekend. A chorus of "You don't know what you're doing," followed by "We want Sarri out," was heard from the travelling fans nestled in the away end. And wasn't the first time. Those chants were not repeated at the final whistle, only because the Blues went on to win the game 2-1 in the dying moments, with, admittedly, the help of some of the worst officiating you will see in the Premier League. All the blame for Chelsea's often incredibly boring, lackluster and inconsistent displays should not be laid at the door of Maurizio Sarri's, presumably smoke-filled, office. Key players have quite evidently not adapted to his style of football, and each have been subpar for various stretches of the season. Sarri, however, has not helped himself with many of his decisions, and it is these recurring tactics that the Chelsea faithful are expressing their concern about in such loud terms, both to the media and on the terraces. For the vast majority of the campaign, Sarri has been incredibly stubborn when it comes to his team selection. Players such as Jorginho, Willian, Pedro, Ross Barkley, Marcos Alonso and Mateo Kovacic have all been constantly selected in the starting 11 despite prior poor performances. Ivan Rakitic's Barcelona's secret weapon, that first name, has been the biggest bugbear, replacing N'Golo Kanté as the defensive midfielder due to Sarri's need for a player to distribute the ball continually from a deep-lying position. Although this is somewhat effective when the other parts of the Chelsea machine are in working order, when they have conceded against both the top sides and so-called lesser teams, it was often through the middle of the pitch as opposition attacks looked to capitalize on Jorginho's defensive frailties. Sarri's clockwork-like substitutions, Kovacic for Barkley on precisely the 70th minute mark, are uninspired and have showed that he was not prepared to alter his game plan, even when his team were losing. Chelsea fans have watched in bemusement as he made seemingly never-ending notes in his little tactics book, week in week out, only to do the same substitutions again and again. His like-for-like changes have drawn jeers at Stamford Bridge, reaching its peak when he inexplicably swapped Cesar Azpilicueta, the club's captain, for fringe player Davide Zappacosta when losing 2-0 to Manchester United back in February. He has also been reactionary at times. As soon as Chelsea conceded the first goal in the Welsh capital, Eden Hazard, who was rested, a move that gravely underestimated Neil Warnock's side, was told to strip off and warm up. How Raheem Sterling proved his critics wrong by selecting an almost identical starting 11 each week. Chelsea's promising wonder kids, Callum Hudson-Odoi and Ruben Loftus-Cheek, have been warming the bench home and away. The former even secured a start for his country before his club. Strangely enough, Sarri was playing them in the Europa League and both had performed well, assisting and scoring goals, only to find that said performances had made no impact on the weekend lineup. Against Brighton on Wednesday night, however, Sarri, for the first time as Chelsea boss, altered the status quo, starting both young England internationals and dropping Willian, Alonso, Kovacic and Barkley. Jorginho retained his place, of course. And what was the result? 3-0 to the Blues. The first time they have scored 3 goals in the league for over 2 months. All 3 goals involved players who had played more minutes in the Europa League than the Premier. Granted, at times, the style of play was reminiscent of the season in general, slow, possession-based football that produces few chances and invites a counterattack when the opposition finally get hold of the ball. But by dropping the Barkley, Jorginho, Kovacic midfield trio, which isn't anywhere near creative enough for a more attacking team with Hazard and Hudson-Odoi on either wing and Kanté supporting Jorginho in the center, Chelsea finally looked threatening and exciting once more. 2 wins on the bounce in the Premier League has reignited Chelsea's quest for the top 4, and with Manchester United floundering and Arsenal having to play away from the Emirates for 5 of their remaining 7 games, the opportunity to get Champions League football is preciously close. But that's only if Sarri learns from his victory against Brighton and doesn't revert to his long-standing, frustrating tactics of old. Much has been made of Chelsea's fans' other, rather rude, chant F***K Sarri Bull. The problem for Sarri and fans alike is that Chelsea aren't anywhere near to playing his famed style. But he has taken one step in the right direction this week. Now read why Chelsea's transfer ban could be a good thing. Gareth Southgate puts his trust in England's youth. Again, David Luiz is no longer a fantasy football game.